Hiya folks, well I've just harvested my beans a little bit late. I've learnt some lessons and I've just done a from start to finish video on them and how they progressed through the season. I'll explain the lessons later and what I'm going to do. I'll get on with it. It's nice to be nice.
So guys, this is how it went this year. On the 19th of April I was harvesting bamboo. First time I've been able to harvest it to use for my beans, so I'm very pleased with that. Bit of a money saver, and they'll be used over and over again. I did have a little mishap, which was I put bamboo canes up for the pongo beans. I didn't realise they were actually bush beans and not climbing beans, and I did move them, although it wasn't them that I moved, so one mistake. Always label your plants. 22nd of April I planted the beans, monastery beans, trailer tears and the pongos. I thought they was all climbing beans. I also planted the corn. Now this is the 4th of May. The beans are obviously up, so is the corn. And the beans that are the tallest are the monastery beans in the middle. 4th of May, Naked Gardening Day. 14th of May. Now, I've obviously covered everything up. We had a freeze and it lasted for about 4 or 5 days where it was getting down to -2, -3. But I had to get the beans in the greenhouse because the monastery beans were climbing into each other. This was the end of the freeze. So this was the 31st of March and I planted the beans out. I thought I'd planted them all in the right place. And I knew I'd planted the monastery beans in the right place. They were the ones that were shooting off and that were actually all tangled up. I planted them out. I had to get them out of the greenhouse so they didn't get more tangled up. But I burnt them. But these are Cherokee Trail Tears, and I thought they were pongos after I found out they were bush beans. These are the monastery beans. I planted them out. I broke them off because they were all tangled, and and they stood up and they've grown, and we got a good crop off them, as you will see. But I did burn them. I did break the tops off, but they came back like stars. Okay, these are actually the pongos, which did produce rather well, rather early. I'm saving seed from this. We did have 2 meals off them. So this is the 14th of the 6th, and I realised that I'd transplanted the wrong beans. I did build another cage or another stand for the other beans, but these were flowering, so these were the pongos. 30th of June. I was getting harvests off the pongos, so we had 2 harvests off this. We eat some and we left some to grow on for seed this year. I want them to grow on to seed. They are very good beans, and thank you Bill and Val, 2 plots to heaven for those seed. 12th of July I moved the beans that I thought were the small ones, and they weren't. The ones on the left are actually the Trail of Tears, and the ones on the right are the monastery beans, both climbing. I had to make a makeshift building for the Trail of Tears, but the monastery beans were producing now, and we had 2 or 3 meals off these plants, 12 plants, before we, went away. Here's a harvest we had from the 19th of July, and you can see we've got onions, we've got beets, and the monastery beans. Now I left the pongos, and the monastery beans are coming on well now. Now I've got to adjust my timing on when I grow stuff when we go away, because we'll be going away about the same time, so I'm going to grow the beans a little bit later, or some of them, that is. But, it's tuning it in. Dialing it into where you live and to what you're going to do. So, bean time. Now I know you don't want to watch me pick all these. You might have to watch a little bit though. But as I've got such a glow, and we usually harvest them and eat them as they come in. We've had a couple of harvests off these monastery beans already, but I thought I'd pick them and weigh them, so I'll keep them separate and just see what we've got. There's about 10 to 12 plants of each of these.
That's all I did, well, all I did this year. That's what I did this year, just to see. Because you either get far too many or you run out. I've got the bush beans coming, I've got some more bush beans coming on, so I'm going to be alright for beans this year. Right then, I'll get on with it. Bugger. Well, that's a trail of tears. I'm going to process them. Still got the monastery beans to do, and there's still some flowers on the trail of tears, so hopefully now I've took all them beans off, they'll put some more out. I'm going to process them and then do the monastery beans. Another job I've got to do today. I fetched this part yesterday. I bought these because I thought they'd be a lot better than other ones, but this one's now leaking here. I cut a bit of pipe off and reset it, won't seal up, so I've got to replace that, which is annoying because I bought metal and especially. I think it's just due to the fact that it's in the sun here, so I've got to fix that. That's the new one. But I'm back to picking beans now. So now for the monastery beans. I'm not going to make you watch though. So that's them. They're the monastery beans. I got most of them. There were odd trail of tears in there that intertwined. But obviously I haven't been picking them, so therefore it's produced and sort of stopped. Now hopefully I've picked them, I've seen some more flowers on. Hopefully now I've picked this, it'll put some more flowers on and put some more beans out. So I'm quite pleased with it, and I could do more if I wanted. Part of my strategy is now to get into canning and, well, anyway, preserving. These are going to be frozen. But I'll have a quick weigh in of what I've got from both types. I've still got the bush beans. I think we'll probably pick them and eat them sort of fresh. I'm going to eat some of these tonight as it goes, but that's what we're doing with bush beans. A lot easier to handle. So let's have a quick weigh in on these. These are the trail of tears. Sorry, these are the monastery beans. They haven't been topped and tailed. So let's see what we got. Like 800 grams. So that's not bad. Again, only 10 or 12 plants. So, you know, if we can split that up in X amount of meals, because I've still got more beans coming. I've got beans in buckets. Those beans should produce some more. And I've got the bush beans. Let me see what the Cherokee Trail of Tears come out at. And that's the Trail of Tears, 12.52. Now, I will say, on the monastery beans, there's still more beans at the top that I can't reach. They're for my seed next year. So, but I don't think there's 400 grams difference. But they're a good bean, as they're an earlier bean. So they've got the pros and cons, and they're a slightly different flavour, all good. So I've got two different sets of beans. They're going to be blanched. I'm not going to do a video on blanching. In fact, I've got to top and tail them. They're all topped and tailed and strong. Because they were a bit late, due to the fact we were away, I got them a little bit later than what I would have wanted to, in reality. But it is what it is. So guys, a little breakdown on this video. I've looked back on my videos and I've gone through things and when I grew things and how I grew things, but when I grew things more than not, because I've been away, obviously, and a lot of me beans were, some were ready and some weren't, and some are ready now when I got back, and some have slightly overdone. So what I'm going to do next year is now tone down and plant 2 weeks later. If I'm going away at the same time, you've got to adjust that for your environment and your climate and your holidays if you've got that extra time. So that's why I've done this video. This is for me. as much as for you. You can learn something from this. But what I would like to say is I got a mail call. And what I got were some cucumbers from Dale Calder. And there's a mini munch, there's Corentine and Lisboa. And these are all the ones that just put out female flowers. So this is going to be very interesting for me next year. I'm really looking forward to that. I'd like to say thank you to Steve Jones. He was just done a great video on cucumbers. And these are the ones from Wilco's, which I did show you, Telepathy. I'd seen a lot of people growing them, and I asked him what his were because he'd got some great cucumbers going on. And he told me, so I'm going to grow these as well. So I'll be doing a certain thing across the back of the greenhouse. But the main thing I want people to look at in this video is how I'm going to reorganise my growing with the beans and stuff, just for the harvest and just for what I can grow when it will work well, even if I'm going away. Anyway, that's the end. Sorry it was so long. Nice to be nice.